Recording has started. Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday. It's the Healthy Trinity Show. And you may notice a little different format here. It's because I'm using my phone this time. And thank God for technology, right? Being able to troubleshoot and do all these things because my Wi-Fi got very spotty all of a sudden right before we're doing this. And not only are we doing a different format, we're also pre-recording this. So you can say hi to me or ask me questions all you want, and I'm just not going to respond. So we'll try it next week, okay? All right, so here we go. Healthy Trinity Show, everybody. All right, so here we go. All right, today's guest, Dena Younkin, is here, and she is going to be giving us some inspiration, talking about her journey and where that's come from, where it's going, where she is. And everybody's journey is a little different, but it's all very relatable. Let's remember that. Everybody's journey is different, and we own our journey. We own our own mess. But everybody's mess is relatable, okay? Before we bring Dena on, I wanted to talk about something very quickly, and I always like to add my own little deal before. Sometimes rediscovering your path or rediscovering your goals is super important because life will throw you curveballs. Life will take you down a different path before you even know it. Before you even realize what's going on, your life is pivoting, your life is shifting, and your goals, your motivations have to move with it, okay? Has to move with it. So, you know, when we don't keep up with these things, sooner or later we realize, well, shit, what happened? I was on a great path. I was accomplishing my goals, and now it's just not working anymore. Well, maybe you didn't adjust your motivations and your goals and your action steps with how life pivoted, threw you a wrench, threw you a curveball. So sometimes it's a great idea to stop, take inventory, look in the mirror, say, where am I now? Where is life? And this could be because of a job situation or a relationship change or anything. It could be, you know, you reached your goal and now you need to go to the next level. So that's a great thing. So that's something that we always need to do. So anyway, take that for what you will. Okay. Do you need to stop and take inventory? Do you need to stop and rediscover your why? I recently had to rediscover my why. Not only that, but I had to rewrite my story. I had to say, my life has shifted in the past year and a half. And that story I was telling everybody a year and a half ago, that's not my story anymore. I have something completely different. Life has taken me this way, ooh, up and down, all around. So my story changes. My actions change. My goals change. But the drive and the desire doesn't change. All right. So before we bring our guest on, Dena Younkin, here she is. All right, there she is, Dena.
Hey.
How's it going?
Thank you for that intro. That was beautiful. So fun to see.
Thank you for coming on. This is This is exciting. Dena's one of those people that her and her husband Michael, like, it's weird. It's like the first time I met him, I knew him for a long time. It was very strange. Like hey, how's it going? And your hugs and everybody high fives and you're so excited. And every time I see them, it's like anytime we have an event of all of our health coaches, I'm always looking for those two to come and give a hug to and say hi to. So I'm glad we could catch up with this, Dena, and just kind of have a talk about where we're at in life, stories and inspiration, and where we're going, and kind of share with everybody else what we're doing in life. So
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys just came back from vacation, yeah?
We did. Yeah, we've been taking a lot of vacations these days. That's kind of the goal at this
Wow.
point in life. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, as much as we can get away, a lot of road tripping in our minivan. That's kind of become the thing, is like loading up the minivan with the two young kids. Right now they're 3 and 7. The older one just turned 7, but we started driving around with them in the minivan when they were 1 and
Oh,
5.
they're all pros. They're pros. Are nice. Good, good. Well, I'm glad you guys had that opportunity to get away as a family. And I know, like you said, that's the goal, right? That's the idea, is to just spend as much time as you can together.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this, Dena. I mean, the whole idea is for you to be able to share your story. Like, before we started recording, you and I were talking about how, stories are unique but relatable.
Mhm.
And we have to be able to not only tell our own story and share it, but understand that somebody needs to hear this, because at one point in your life you needed to hear somebody's story that you could relate to, and you made that decision to invest in your health,
Right.
and that has drastically changed the direction of your life and your family's life.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and jump right into this, Dena. Let's hear your story.
Sure. I think I was, spending some time before we came together today, thinking back on the last 3 years and where I was. And then I kind of kept going back and back, and thinking about how, like, where I am now, and what kind of change has happened. And for me, it started the health journey started really when right after I had my second son. But before that, it was I don't know, I was never fit. Like, I never was like running marathons or anything, but I never really focused on weight, or I just knew that I kind of felt good. And then yeah, I just like did things that were fun, like, and call like that, to stay active, yoga. And I like to hula hoop. I still kind of dabble in that. I gave it up for a long time, but I've picked it back up again.
Cool.
Um, like hiking, yoga, hula hooping, things like that. Just like things to stay active, like be social, like going out dancing. In fact, I married a DJ, so that was a big part, like staying active by doing things that are social. And then, kind of my 30s hit, and got married and ate a lot of Korean barbecue. And we 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 found a lot of joy in, like, going out to eat.
Yeah.
That was just trying all of the places, traveling. We would travel and just like restaurant hop, restaurant and bar hop, and try all the food and drinks, and started to catch up to us. But mostly it was when I had my first, when I was pregnant for the first time, like when I started having kids, that's when like my body just really took a toll, and not just like weight wise. Like, my pregnancies were really hard. They were really tough. I had miscarriages. I threw up for 9 months straight. I had um, high blood pressure, that put me in the hospital. Swelling, sciatic pain that put me on disability. And then after my baby was born, the first one, challenges with breastfeeding. So it was just a lot on my body. Didn't really recognize myself anymore. I had kind of given up, this vessel that I would use to have fun, use to facilitate, fun activities. It wasn't me, it wasn't mine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So um, all that, then I ended up going back to work 4 months postpartum, kind of feeling all of this. I went back to a super fulfilling job that I loved, but also very high pressure and um, a lot of stress tied to it.
Yeah.
So I did that until I got pregnant with my second son. So it was about 3 years. I did that life, and I just,
Mm.
um, I don't know. I just was tired. I kind of lost my joy, you
Mm.
know, kind of just lost the fun. Like it just wasn't fun anymore. Didn't have time to do the fun things. All I wanted to do was I would just like wait till I could get off work so I could go pick up my son from daycare. That was I remember I remember I would be driving down the freeway, looking at the clock, thinking, okay, I have to get there by 6. And like 6 is in 3 minutes. And thinking like, I get to see my baby in 3 minutes. I get to
Yeah.
see my baby in 3 minutes. And so when I had my second, um, I knew I didn't want to do that again. As much as I loved my job and I loved, it was a very impactful job. I worked with women experiencing homelessness in Skid Row, worked in job development, and did a lot of transformational work in that setting. So as much as I loved being there, clearly I loved my kids more and wanted to be with them.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually suffered from postpartum depression and had a ton of anxiety. I was put out on disability and just like couldn't return to work. I couldn't function.
Mm.
Um, and then along comes Optavia.
Wow.
And that it was about I had actually been introduced to it already because my stepsister lost 170 pounds around, so I'd been watching her shrink for
Mhm.
for a little bit of time now. So I kind of knew, and after the baby, once the baby's born, like I knew I was going to make the call. um, so I started at 2 months postpartum on our nursing parents program, so breastfeeding program, and um, I think it was like within 3 weeks I was like 12 pounds down or something like that, and
Jeez.
I hadn't, and my pants from like 3 years ago before my first pregnancy fit, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks. I've been trying for 3 years to put in these pants again. Like what just happened? Like it just like I
Wait,
would
that was
step on
3
the
weeks.
scale and be like, I think the scale's broken. This can't be real. Like I never experienced anything like that. So of course, like I had that success, and then I went on to shed 50 pounds.
Mm.
But I was able to breastfeed my second son a lot easier than the first.
Yeah.
I was eating all the time because this specific program is very like, I mean, they're all amazing, but this one was very like nutrient rich, and I was just like, I'm eating all the time. I'm losing weight. I'm fitting in my pants. And I remember my coach after the first week saying like, well, what's different? Like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I can think. Like, I can think straight. Like,
Mm.
I've not had mental clarity in 3 years. Like, I don't even know what this is
Wow.
anymore. Like, I want to do all these things. I have all this energy.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, that was kind of, the start of it. I was pretty much, sold from that point on. Michael joined me. My best friend joined me. She lost 110 pounds in 10 months. And
Wow.
from there, this trickle effect of starting to surround myself with this like healthy environment. I
Yeah.
started exercising. I go to these classes where you bring your baby in the stroller and
Oh,
you
yeah.
do like stroller running and stuff. So I
Yeah.
couldn't exercise before. My swelling went down. And yeah, I just started feeling good again. Because at this point, what I really wanted to do was be with my kids.
Yeah.
And I needed the energy to do that as well. I
Yeah.
needed to feel good.
Yeah, you do. If you want to
Yeah.
be with kids, you better have some energy. That's for sure. Because they're gonna suck it right out of you.
But I love it. Right? We
Oh,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, yeah. It's the best thing in the world that
Yeah.
just sucks it right out of you.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what life would be like. And you and I have kids that are the same age.
Mm.
I can't imagine what life would be like if I didn't have the energy I had because I decided to make a change in my health. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what I would do with them. Like, I don't know
No.
how I would manage it. Like, not even just
Yeah.
like physically, but emotionally, and having the emotional intelligence and tools that were given through our program to, balance the chaos.
Yeah, balance the chaos. And that's a great term because it's, this is where we separate, our program separates itself from a diet, is because we do introduce the tools and the resources necessary to emotionally overcome some of these obstacles, right? We
Right.
emotionally balance ourselves, so to speak, and it applies to food triggers, it applies to emotional triggers, it applies to, in your relationships and being parents. And it's just, that is, to me, that's the part that really sticks, is when we learn these behaviors now to overcome those obstacles of what was standing in our way before. Like you said, I don't know what I would have done physically if I didn't have the energy, but also having the mental fortitude to handle two young children, to handle, I mean, the rest of life and everything else that throws at you. No wonder why people are just exhausted when they get home. No wonder why people are complaining that they aren't the parents they want to be, not the spouse they want to be, because they just don't have the physical. And that's where it starts. I think a lot of it is they just don't have the physical presence and energy to make it through their day, and everything else takes from there. You're able to learn how to overcome those things with very easy concepts, right? And you think about
Right.
what we've learned, and some of the things. I'm not going to give away all of our secrets right now, but just being able to stop ourselves in a situation and
Mhm.
think back before we react or respond, and say, what do we truly want for ourselves? And then respond. That is such a simple concept, to just say, let me count to 10 real quick. Let me take a couple deep breaths. Let me just remember my why, remember my goals. That can change so much in your life. Am I right?
Right. And I think I know, like for me, I kind of stopped dreaming and having goals because I was just surviving. And I think that's true for a lot of people.
Yes.
Especially, we were living in Los Angeles at the time, and um it's just hard. Like it's hard. I don't know, maybe it's hard to live everywhere, but it's hard to live in LA just financially. And I don't know, our like housing is tough, and we kept having to move for whatever lots of reasons.
Yeah.
And it just was like one thing after another, after another, after another. And at that point, I was like, I'm just here to keep myself and these kids alive, especially when the kids are young.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember getting on a call with a coaching partner, so a mentor coach at the time, and her saying like, "Oh, well, what are your dreams?" Like, what's that? And I had dreams. I used to have. I'm like, I know I had them, but at that point, I was like, oh, I gave up on those a while ago.
Yeah.
So that was something for me, is like having that space and that mental clarity to be able, and like having people ask me, to like, what do I want out of life? Like,
Right.
how do I want to show up in the world? And
That
people like genuinely
that takes
listening
you off
and
guard.
caring and
Yeah.
encouraging me to think about it.
Hmm. That's just something that when people hit you with that question, you're like, uh, I don't know. I truly don't know. Because it's like you said, you're right. You went from dreaming to surviving. And this world will shrink our vision down from dreams to surviving. And now you're living day by day. You're like, how do I get through today? Because tomorrow, and then this weekend, and then everything's so hectic and overwhelming. And what do I do? Right. And we
Right.
start living a life that's unfulfilled. So how do we take that back and go, whoosh, we're going to come right back to where we were, where we are dreaming, where we are, living the life that we designed for ourselves.
Mhm.
How do we get back to that? Um, and again, it goes back to some of these concepts that we talk about, that we learn, discovering that why, and just really living for your goal. And how bad do you want that goal? How bad do you want that? That's your motivations, right? So when you were going through your journey, when you were like, okay, I'm gonna lose this weight, I'm gonna do things. What were some of your motivations? What were some of your whys when you were doing this? What got you through
Oh,
those times?
I had these vintage dresses that I wanted to be able to wear again. I mean, that was the beginning. I
Ah,
was like, oh, I just have some like one of a kind. I don't have a ton of clothes, but I have a couple one of a kind things I want to wear. Um, so that's what got me started. And then what kept me going, and I think this is, um, a lot of people will say this is the kids, and wanting to do things with them. And then from there, became um, a lot about wanting the kids to see the world and travel together and have those experiences that we talked about in the beginning.
yeah,
And we're working towards buying a house. That was like the thing. I think that was like the big dream, that uh, that I felt like when we were in Los Angeles. I felt like that wasn't ever going to happen. So we really started to look at what it would take to make that happen. So we actually packed up and moved to San Antonio, Texas, about a little over a year ago.
yeah.
Um, we picked we picked San Antonio. We it wasn't that we had family here or had a job here or anything. We just took what we had learned in Optavia and took our goals
Yeah,
and reverse engineered it, and
yeah.
this was something that fit fit into like one of the steps to get us to where we're going. So we're close. We're not there yet, but we are close and we're working toward it. Um, so that's kind of the big one. That's like the tangible one. And then, as the years have gone on and the goals have changed or the vision has changed, the why has changed, just like you were talking about in the beginning with taking an inventory and reassessing. Um, I think that's something I've been working on,
Yeah.
and it's taken me. I don't even know if I'm still clear on it, 3 years in. Um, but just looking at just like creating more opportunity for our kids,
Yes.
and something that's been coming up a lot is just breaking cycles of addiction
Mm-hmm.
and cope like taking the tools and the coping skills that we practice and have learned and being able to pass that down so the next generation can just cope and thrive in life. So those kinds of things that I'm still trying to work out, that's really what's driving me right now is, how am I or how are we, as a family, setting our children up to be able to communicate, to manage their very big feelings, set goals, manage money, like understand finances, save, just those kinds of things, and also see the world. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's a big
Like
one.
you said, create opportunities, right? You don't just take the opportunities. I feel like when you say you just take your opportunities as they come, you're waiting around for it to happen. And when it's there, when the train finally pulls in, you're just going to jump on it. But how long are you going to wait, right? How long you got to wait for that train? How long are you going to wait for that opportunity? Instead, you, Michael, are creating the opportunities for your family. You're learning, you're constantly learning, you're working self-development. You're taking this from basically, again, you're taking it from a diet, right? Where
Yeah,
you lost 50 pounds and that's good. But now there's the other part. Now there's the mental work, the emotional work.
yeah,
And that all ties in together so much more than people know. And it's a shame too, because I mean, I've seen plenty of times where clients will just do one portion of
mm,
this program and they will do, and they do that poorly, as I say poorly, but and they do that, I'm going to say a better word, half-assed. Okay, that's not a better word. They
yours.
they will do it their way, and they only do one portion of it, and they just don't reach their goals because we have to embrace everything. And that was part of my story, actually. I should I should do something with my story. That was part of my original story. Was when I lost my weight originally in 2012. I only did the diet portion, and I didn't go with embracing the rest of it, the things that you guys are doing now. And as a result, it only took 1 year for all my weight to come back. It's all it took, right? But when we embrace everything as a whole, as a program, as a lifestyle, as a change, and we just envelop ourselves in it, now we're doing what you guys are doing. Now you're leading a life, and now you're passing it on, not only from yourself and your husband, but your kids as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's truly, as a parent, that's what we want, is we want our kids to be better than we are. We want our kids to know more than we do. And so we're going to do everything we can to better ourselves so we can pass it on to them. But speaking of passing things on, Dena, we take this gift of Optavia, we take this gift of this health program, and the next evolution of this is not only just as a client, but we also decide, you know what, we want to pass this on to other people and become a health coach ourselves. And now we're able to, like you said, your Michael, your best friend, everybody just jumps on this and they start doing this all together. This creates community, your own journey, and now you're helping people. So tell me about that journey. How does that go from Dena the client to Dena the coach? What is that done for you?
Yeah. Well, it happened pretty fast because my friend was like, well, I want that. So she jumped on and I started coaching well before I thought I was ready to do it. I knew early on that I was going to coach because I knew I didn't want to go back to the job I had. And the job I had was very fulfilling and dealt with human transformation. So I knew right away that I was going to want to do this. I was just very newly postpartum and not ready to do anything new at the time. But my friend who jumped in was awesome, and she started coaching really fast, and she really kept me in check. It was like she was coaching me at this point. So I probably would have given up, or not even given up, but just like not progressed the way I have in my health and, doing the things I'm doing now. Like I'm running races now and doing all these things and exercising and lifting weight, all these things. I probably wouldn't be doing that if she hadn't had stuck with it and like kept me accountable. So that speaks to the part where we build community, right? Because we had each other, and that's what coaching does. That's why I was here coaching to begin with. But anyhow, I knew I wanted to leave my job, but that just seemed crazy. I've always had worked, and like I said, I loved it. So I knew I had to do something really meaningful that gave back. So it took me a little while to get into fully embracing myself as a health coach and not in the role I was in before, and like kind of I don't know, I had some grieving to do to transition from I'm now a full-time stay-at-home mom, I'm a health coach, and I'm no longer this working professional with this very fulfilling job. So that took some time and a lot of work, like personal growth work and development. But I'm there now, and I think, like I touched on before, it's just it's allowed us to think differently and not be tied to a certain story or a certain location. So I'm no longer tied to that person that I used to be, and it gave us an opportunity to actually step outside of that and think bigger. Like, well, do we have to stay here? Like, can we move? We can do that. Can we pack up a minivan and travel for a month? Sure, why not? I can work from anywhere. So that's been really cool to be able to have that shift in mindset of I can do this from anywhere, and I can I guess this was another big thing, is my impact. I felt like my job before that I had was very impactful. It was very impactful for a specific community. But now I'm able to be impactful on a much different scale, a larger scale, because I'm able to reach people beyond, just the boundaries that I was working within.
Yep.
I can be on Zoom. I can try, like, I have a health assessment with somebody I met at the ice machine at a roadside hotel the other day.
I love it. Yes.
Things like that. So that's been fun, but also impactful because I'm just getting to meet people and engage with community outside of what I ever thought I could.
Yeah, that's amazing. People you just meet off the side of the road, or well, not the ice machine, and you're having a health assessment. You're helping them awaken their own goals and their own dreams. You're asking them those questions that made you go, "Oh, what?" That led you down a path to now you have not only extra accountability, but you have freedom to be able to do life on your terms, go where you want to go, and do what you love doing, fulfillment, and you're impacting lives, like you said, so broad, not just in that specific field. And that's the point of all this, is when we can impact people's lives, and just by sharing your story, just say, look, this is my story. This is what has happened to me and my family because of this. And now I'm sharing this with you. These are the people that are going to be like, yes, I need that. And then you're going to watch them transform, and they're going to go out and impact people. And that is our mission as health coaches, is just lifelong transformations, one healthy habit at a time, reaching millions of people, changing the world for better health. It's simple. There's nothing difficult about it. There's nothing complicated about it. When it comes to coaching, when it comes to transforming your life, when it comes to following our program, it's not difficult. And I think people need to remember that as long as you can keep one foot in front of the other, you're going to be just fine. Like you said, when you started coaching, I didn't know everything. I didn't know. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not ready to coach because I don't know everything. You don't need to know everything. You're the guide. You're the person that says, look, I've been where you are yesterday. This is how I handle it. You stay one step ahead of the people that you're helping. That's all you need. And like you said, your friend taught you. You realize different things because of them. So we don't need to have everything figured out. We don't need to have it all planned out. We don't need to have it locked down. Stay one step ahead and you're going to be just fine. That's an amazing story because what I like, oh my gosh, we really didn't even spend very much time on the fact that your weight, right? And that's the greatest thing. You guys watching, look back at all these other shows that we've done. We spend about 5% of the time talking about how much weight we lost.
Yeah.
It's not about the weight. It is not.
I think what I wanted to point out was that it's about how I feel and the tools. Oh, the kids are knocking at the door now. Yeah, it's about how I feel. And as I'm, when I'm feeling good, I'm able to impact more people. I'm able to show up better. Like that's kind of at the end of the day.
That's exactly. That's all the time we have for today. No, it's when you feel good, you're impacting more people, and you can do better, and you can feel better, and you can be better. That's how it goes, and it's a cycle. Okay, so before we wrap this up, Dena, because your alarm just went off apparently. One last thing to say to people who are hearing this message and going, yeah, I might want to do it, but I'm not quite sure. Push them over the fence.
Yeah, I think, what do you have to lose? Like, there's, you never, like, why not? Like, it's not, you're not out anything. Like, just try it. That's what I think that's what I tell people. It's like, why not just try it?
Why not? Yeah. What's it really going to do?
Yeah. It's not going to harm you in any way. So you might as well just give it a shot. If it's something that if it's something that you've been thinking about doing, if you have a change, and I would say also think beyond weight loss. People come to us for weight loss very often, but that's not, as you know, Josh said, like that's not what we're getting out of it. That's not what we're walking away with. So it is, but that's not the main.
Small portion of it.
Yeah.
Really.
So my advice to somebody is to just try it. Like,
Nice.
see what happens.
I like that. That's very like no pressure type of thing. Give it a try. What do you got to lose? All right, last thing. Any shout outs you want to give to people? Anybody?
Shout outs. Yeah, let's see. Oh, that put me on the spot. I don't know. I want to give a shout out to my coach, Monica. I actually I always keep this like close to my desk when I'm talking to people because she was in People magazine.
Right.
And I love sharing this.
And want to
That's
hear
just so
his
cool.
interview, go back to my YouTube channel. It's on there. We did one with Monica. So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, she's been amazing to me and, you know, introduced this to me. My husband, Michael, who's super supportive and has gone along on this journey with me. So
yes.
yeah, thank you. I have some really amazing clients that have become friends. So thank you for trusting me, especially in the beginning when I was learning what I was doing and trying to like come into myself more. So yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Dena, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for pouring into us. I know I got something out of this, and I know everybody else hearing this is going to definitely, if you have your ears open, you're going to hear what she had to say and you're going to feel it. So thank you again, Dena. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yes.
Yes. And that's it. So if anybody's out there wanting to explore this program or explore what we have to offer, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to Dena or any of the wonderful coaches that we've had on here. And we would love to talk with you and just meet you where you're at and see what your goals are. Ask you what your dreams are and how we could help you best achieve those. So, all right, everybody. We'll be back next week with another Transformation Tuesday and Healthy Trinity show. See you then.